Welcome to another episode of the Gay Archive Show, where we explore gay history, one bar at a time. I'm your host, Art Smith, and today's episode is part of a new series called Gay Bar Takeover. In this series, former pioneers from various industries, like finance, healthcare, and fast food, share their journeys as they transition into owning and operating gay bars. It's a fun mix of personal stories, behind the scenes insights, and the future of LGBT safe spaces. Today's guest on Gay Bar Takeover is Michael Barrett, who has a background in fast food franchises and has recently segued into the gay bar scene. Welcome, Michael.
How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I, I see you're in your office there where all the important stuff happens, the paperwork and all that.
Yeah.
But we know right outside the walls is Aquaplex Fort Lauderdale. But you have not always been in the bar business. In fact, that's a fairly recent aspect of your life. What was your professional career like before that?
I basically started at Taco Bell when I was 19. I was in college going to school. My mom thought I was having too much fun on her dollars, so I went and got a job at Taco Bell. Luckily, at that time, Pepsi had bought Taco Bell, was throwing a lot of money at it to develop it. And I was kind of in the right place at the right time. Graduated from college, was making more at Taco Bell than I could make going into my field, and stuck with it. Got moved to the Carolinas, became a franchise business coach, and worked with the developing new franchisees, learned the business, and then bought some restaurants. First group was up in Buffalo, New York, and then from there it just kind of flourished around the country.
So ultimately, in your time in fast food, you owned over 100 Taco Bells, correct?
It was yes, it was over 100 at one time, and then I had KFCs and some Dunkin' Donuts.
Very cool. So that obviously immersed you in the world of business and the world of customer service, because obviously those businesses are all based on, treating the customer right, getting the product out there, being consistent in what you do. Um, Now, obviously, you are no longer in the fast food industry, but you decided at some point to sell those restaurants off to get out of the fast food business. And I understand you took a trip to Key West.
Yep, I had sold off, thought I was ready to retire. About 3 months into that, the anxiety being retired was just not what I was cut out to do. So me and my husband was in Key West. He went fishing, and I went out and was looking at houses and bought a house. And the next thing you know, we bought a bar, and here we are.
Now, how did John react to that when you came back from his fishing trip and said, "Look,
He
honey,
was
I
not
caught
happy.
a fish"?
He
I'm
was
sorry.
not happy because I bought a bar without really discussing it. I mean, I bought a house without really discussing it. So we were actually having a conversation about that. And one of the people that helped us get the bar said, "Well, I know a bar that's for sale," and hooked me up with Michael Ingram. And the next thing you know, the rest is history.
So now you're suddenly in the bar business.
We're in the
And
bar business, and we started out. We bought the bar in Key West, and then we've opened up the Bird Cage, and we have the Tutu and Company, and then we opened up the back bar as well. And
now, is Tutu and Company part of the Aquaplex, or is it
yes,
a separate location?
it's all part of the Aquaplex, but they're all separate locations. So there's actually four different bars inside the block.
Okay. Now, the one that everybody, probably knows the best is Aqua, obviously because it shares the name with the whole complex. What is Aqua all about?
Aqua is more of an upscale type of drag show. It's more, we try we're trying to elevate drag and make it something that's unique. One of the things about Key West, people tend to let their hair down when they come to Key West. It's like being in a different country. And, I go back to the saying, my mom and dad were, they're from Arkansas and they're just regular people, but they had never been to a drag show. This was before I was even gay until they went to the one in Key West. They were on vacation in Key West, went to the drag show there, and it was their first experience with anybody being gay. And lo and behold, their son was gay. But the same goes for my husband. It was his first drag show.
Wow. So Aqua is designed to be more like the old school drag bars where you have production numbers and costuming and backgrounds and it's more of a big deal. Is that right?
Yes, a little bit more elevated drag show. We have one person that does the silks from the ceiling, and we have a variety of different types of queens there. So you kind of get a little taste of everything. We're looking at adding boys in the show there as well, and that's what we're doing here in Fort Lauderdale as well.
Now you did briefly add boys to the Key West location during your Fantasy Fest thing. You had some of the boys from, I'm in Tampa, and you had the boys from Johnson's Tampa down there.
That is correct.
And that, from what I understand, was quite a successful venture that everybody seemed to love it. And it gave you an opportunity to spell Aquaplex with 3 X's.
Yes, we definitely did that. It was a lot of fun. That was our second time we brought the boys from Spunk in from New York City back during Pride. So, we try to, like during special occasions, we like to do things that are fun and get people excited about coming to our locations.
Now, once you decided to move to Key West, what was your impression of the scene there outside of the bars that you own? What was it? Had you been there before?
Yes, I've been going to Key West for 30 years. I go back to the time when Atlantic Shores was there and the Copa and all that good stuff. But the biggest thing about Key West is it's almost like tropical Disneyland. You come to the city, it's not real world. Everybody's usually on a golf cart or a scooter or walking or riding a bike. There's not a lot of traffic. There's not, you're closer to Cuba than you are to Walmart. So it's a unique place in itself. And the people there can be very eclectic and a lot of fun. And that makes the whole experience kind of unique.
Yeah, I remember my first visit to Key West was a long, long, long time ago. I'm going to say the late 80s. And it happened to be during Fantasy Fest. So that even elevates it more. But you're absolutely right. It was like being at Disney World. I mean, everything seemed so unreal. Even the taxi cabs at that time were painted in like multicolor pastels, pink and yellow and green. And you just looked at these things and it's like, doesn't even look like a real cab. It looks like something out of a cartoon. But everybody there always seemed to be very laid back. As you said, you've been going there 30 plus years. It was truly a gay mecca back then. But even now, it's like nobody cares if you're gay or you're straight or you have 12 wives. They're just enjoying themselves and living in paradise.
We've actually had people call from out of state because we get a lot of people in from all around the country in Key West, but we've had people call and say, is it safe there? And, with all the rhetoric and everything that's going on nowadays, we always say, we're really not part of anything. We're so far removed from everybody. We do our own thing here. And Key West is the town is not 80% gay. I mean, from the mayor down to the police captain in the last year or whatever, everybody that's there, a lot of them are gay. So I think Key West has that, and people feel at ease when they come to Key West. And that's one of the things we want to bring into Fort Lauderdale. We want to bring some of that Key West, that feeling in Key West to Fort Lauderdale, and make it, we are one family. And, that slogan came from Key West. The guy who invented it comes in all the time. And we are one family. And, one of the things we're going to probably start talking about here after we get past everything is we're one family. It's time for our nation to heal and come together. And remember, we all bleed the same. And try to, be respectful of each other and move forward. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. We want to enhance what they did at Lips. It's always, somebody can come in and enhance what I'm doing. You can always make something better than it was. And it doesn't matter if it's me or anybody else. Visionaries are what makes this country move, and people come in and reinvent everything. A long time ago, Kmart was the thing, and Walmart came in and took over Kmart. It's just about elevating and living your vision, and then, until the next vision comes along.
So you were successful in the fast food industry, and obviously, as you mentioned, you were bored after a short while of, quote, retirement. And you decided to buy a bar in Key West. But what was it that made you choose specifically buying a bar? You could have bought a bait shop or a fashion, clothing store or a convenience market. You could have bought anything. Why did you want to get into the bar business?
We got into the bar business, me and my husband, is because of our passion for drag and being able to give back to the gay community. We, being in the corporate world, you don't necessarily get to do that. You do, but it's kind of, like in major brands, they want you to stay low key on everything. But, you don't want to be the one at the top of the radar screen. But here we can be who we are. We can help enhance the population. And, drag is an art form, and people forget that. Drag's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, going back to, the old days. And, it meant dress ready as a girl. And, I think people have a tendency into today's world to forget that it's an art form. It's not just something that people do. It's an actual art form. And,
right.
We want to enhance that art and make it so that, we are a safe space for everybody. And that's the whole purpose of what we try to do.
Yeah, and you and I are more or less the same age. I'm a few years older, but when we first started seeing drag shows, they were bigger productions. They were, more involved than what some of the drag shows are now. Some of the drag shows now, somebody throws on a dress in the back seat of their minivan and slaps on some lipstick and lip syncs to a song. But what you're trying to do with your drag is to really bring it back to that, that kind of more elegant, more refined version of the art form. And that's something that really stands out when you watch the shows at Aquaplex, either in Key West or in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, one of the things we've done is we've actually taken and so we have a concept in Key West, which is called the Birdcage Cabaret. It's its own show. And that's the other thing I'm proud of is we're one of the largest drag complexes in the United States. We're one of the only places that does multiple venues at the same time. And so, we can have a Birdcage Cabaret show going on and an Aquanet show going on next door. And then we can also have a drag bingo going on in Tutu and drag queen watching RuPaul's Drag Race in the back. So we have a lot of opportunities to enhance who we are. But like the Birdcage Cabaret is a Vegas style show. It's not like a regular drag show. We bring in our queens. It's more choreographed. It's more put together, more polished. And it's like what you would see at La Cage. In fact, Christopher Peterson, I think, worked for La Cage at one time. And he is the show director. And he will be putting together the show here in Fort Lauderdale the same way. It'll probably start out at a couple of days a week, and it will be the dinner show, and then we'll see how it goes, and then if there's a big need for it here, we'll increase that.
Now, Christopher also recently took over the tiara of dropping down in the high heel on New Year's Eve. Is that not correct?
That is correct, and I think this year it's going to be Randy Roberts. So they're going to start trying to switch it out a little bit for the talent on the island, I think. But
Very
yes,
cool.
he was the first person to ever drop in Sushi's place.
Very cool. Yeah, Patrick Galliano has done a great job with that promotion with Stoli, and I've seen many videos of the New Year's high heel drop over the years. It's kind of in the gay world, it's about as iconic as the apple dropping in Times Square or whatever. It's a landmark event, and I'm really glad that you were able to be a part of it. That was pretty cool.
And that was our first year in Key West, so we really we really have come in and we've upgraded everything we've done, and we've made it. We hopefully are breathing some life into the gay community in Key West, and hopefully here in Fort Lauderdale as well.
Now, what skills did you find most helpful from your previous career when you came into this? What was it that you learned as a franchise, multi-franchise owner, that helped you really get everything organized and get the ball rolling for Aquaplex?
The biggest thing is, I used to have a thing in my restaurants. I tried to get to every restaurant every month, and I would go in, put my gloves on, and put a hat on, and make food with people that were working for me. And you would see their faces, and at first they'd get nervous, and wraps and stuff would be flying. But one of the things I think that's been the most helpful to me is learning how to deal with people in different walks of life, and try to be empathetic and understand that we all got issues we're going through, and how do we move forward through that. And I think that's probably people, at the end of the day, it don't matter how much money you have or anything. If your people are happy, then they're going to make you money because they're having a good time doing what they're doing. And at the same time, you're having a good time doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and you've got some really good people on your team. I've gotten to know a few of them, speak to a few of them. I know you kept a number. In Fort Lauderdale specifically, you took over what was Lips Fort Lauderdale, and
Yes.
Lips was a chain, obviously, of drag bars in 5 or 6 cities around the country, and they were looking to sell off the one in Fort Lauderdale. And you came in and you said, "I like the space. I like the location. It's close to Wilton Drive. Where dozens of bars are located. It's kind of the epicenter of gay life in Fort Lauderdale." And but you chose not to keep the name because you wanted to expand your brand of Aquaplex. And since you've been there, I can see amazing changes in the decor, how much different the space looks, how fresh it looks when you walk in there. It doesn't look tired and stale. In the video screens and the audio equipment, and the general decor, it looks so much better than it did 6 months ago. And that's obviously an ongoing thing for you, right? This is just the beginning of Fort Lauderdale.
Actually, the sound engineers next door right now, we've only got a portion of. One of the things we like to have is a lot of show theatrics, like cannons and video and like cumulus clouds. It looks like they're walking on a cloud, stuff like that. You enhance the shows by giving them all the tools to make it. You want it to be just better than somebody getting up on stage and lip syncing. And we really push live singing. What sets us apart from every other drag show in town. And, what we try to do is just to make sure that we have, when you come here to the Aquaplex, you get a complete immersive experience where, you're going to see things that you would normally go to Vegas to see. And that's kind of what we're hoping to bring here. We're going to probably be close to being done here probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The biggest holdup is going to be the sign out front, I think. And that's just because an engineer has to make it so they can withstand 130-mile-an-hour winds, and they got to go back and forth with town and all that. But I believe the right thing is to just, make sure that when you come through that door, you get an experience like you're not going to get anywhere else here in Fort Lauderdale. And then, hopefully you'll come down to see the mothership in Key West as well.
Now, speaking of the mothership, right now, the Fort Lauderdale location is basically a recreation of, I guess, the Aqua Bar with a little slice of birdcage in it.
That's correct. So basically what we're going to do here is, because we've only got one showroom, we're going to incorporate everything we do into one showroom. So we're going to incorporate the Birdcage Cabaret show. And then we're going to incorporate, a taboo show, Aquanet's Taboo, and then a regular Aquanet show. And so we're going to kind of coordinate all that together. And then we're going to bring boys in. So we'll have the Aquamarines starting, and they've already been in a few performances here, but we'll be integrating them in as well. So we'll have dancers. They're not strippers here; they're dancers, and it's just to enhance the whole experience. So if you do come in and you're looking at it, you're getting the whole gamut of experience. You're getting males, you're getting females, impersonators. We have drag kings. We do a little bit with everybody.
Yeah, when we were in there for, I think it was Saturday brunch a couple of weeks ago, you had the boys integrated in the show that day. And it was particularly rewarding for me because two of those dancers are friends of mine. So Quinn and Jax were both in the show. And It was really interesting to see them perform in a choreographed number with the drag queens, with the music and everything. And it really elevated the experience for me, other than just seeing an endless stream of drag queens go up there. It interjects a different type of energy. It gives you something different to look at. And, those bars, Lips has always attracted bachelorette parties and women to some extent. And they appreciate that too, because they want to look at the boys as much as I do. Yeah. And it was very well received.
Well, and that's really the whole purpose, is to have something for everybody, but not lose who you are. I don't want to lose the fact that first and foremost, we are who we are. We are, we are a gay bar, and we cater to everybody. It's a safe space. But we don't want to lose fact of who we are. And, it's just about people being able to come in and celebrate the art of drag and enjoy what they see and continue to get an enhanced vision of what they get.
Yeah. And another thing that I've heard about your Fort Lauderdale location, and I did experience a little bit of it, but I know there's much bigger things coming. You are revamping the menu completely. So yes. The food there, for those of you who don't know, Lips traditionally has been a dinner theater style experience. So they always serve food. The performers are the ones who are your servers, and they bring out this food. But at the Aquaplex Fort Lauderdale, the level of that food is also being elevated. You have a lot of big things planned for what the menu is going to look like in a month or two.
Oh yes, the whole menu is going to change dramatically. Like we're going to be doing a Latin night on Tuesdays. We've got a whole Latin menu to go with Latin night, and we're going to be enhancing the night menu so that it's something that if you want, and we're going to really just do a 7:00 show as the menu show, and then after that you can order tapas if you want. You don't have to come in and order a meal. So we're going to give you the chance to do whatever you want to do when you come here. And, that's the key to, I think, I've heard so many people as I've been out and about around town. Oh, I want to come, but I didn't want to eat. Or I was going out to Ruth Chris or something, and then I was coming there. But also we want to make sure our food is top notch as well. So if you come here to eat, you're going to get a 5-star dining experience. It's not going to be some spaghetti on a plate. It like, we want to, and one of the things we just did in Key West is the best restaurant in Key West just took over our food truck. And so it's called Little Lola's. And that is the best restaurant in Key West, Lola's Restaurant. And so now we have them on property. And now how do we integrate that into whatever we're going to do in Key West? And having that chef there, Chef Richard, he's been around for a long time. He has a great business in Key West, but his food is always superb. And I mean, they call it 5 stars. He would be a 10 on that level. People line up to get into his restaurant, and you usually can't get in there. So we're hopefully going to be able to take some of that and bring it up here as well in the future. But one of the things you're going to see is like tuna tartare and, just some unique menu items that are really, really good. Every item I've tried, like the chef has made me, Sean is the manager here. And I know we've had like probably, I don't know how many different meals here tasting stuff. And, some that we, this needs work, go back and figure it out. This is good. We'll keep this. But, just bringing up the level of food here in Fort Lauderdale will be amazing.
So out of the new food items that you've tasted so far that have been kind of put in front of you as possibilities, what is your personal favorite?
There is a blackened salmon that is different from what we currently have a salmon on the menu, but it was so good that I could have probably eaten 2 of them. The other thing on Tuesday night, I'm a big, I'm kind of Latin myself. I'm Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese, and the Latin menu. I mean, it is fabulous. When I say fabulous, I mean it is off the charts good. And we're still working on the main menu. I think we probably got a couple more choices we're going to make. And the other thing we're going to do here is we're going to, instead of giving you a little muffin, dessert's going to be a la carte. So we're going to do carrot cake from Lola's in Key West, and then we're going to do real key lime pie from Key West.
Yum.
And so you can you get that Key West experience also here in Fort Lauderdale. And then we're going to do some stuff that's local to Fort Lauderdale as well. We're going to bring that to Key West as well. So, and then the other thing that we're really trying to stay focused on is whatever you see here in Fort Lauderdale, you're going to see something different in Key West. We're not going to do the same things. So you'll have different shows, different places.
Will there be also a Fort Lauderdale cast of the Aquanets?
Yes, they already are the Aquanets. They're calling themselves the Aquanets. You'll have a Fort Lauderdale Birdcage Cabaret show as well. We've already started auditioning because the Birdcage is a lot of live singing, and it's more of a choreographed. It's a production. It's like when they're in the Birdcage, they can't wait tables or anything. The show moves so fast and so choreographed that it's all about the show. And we also are going to hire some male bartenders as well. We're going to up probably next week. I think Marika, our general manager from Key West, is coming up to teach everybody how to make craft drinks. So we're going to up the game in drinks and, give you the full experience here.
I understand at both locations, you're going to have an opportunity for people to order craft mocktails. So if they're not drinkers, because this is a topic that comes up a lot. Why is everybody always talking about bars? Why is everything always about alcohol? It's not. You can go into a bar like Aquaplex and you can order yourself, a Shirley Temple or some, fancy mocktail that they've created specially for the bar, right?
That is correct. I think we have 6 or 7 mocktails on the menu. So, and also we'll have a vegan option here as well. So, we try to make sure that we cover all the bases for everybody. I'm like the other night I had a mocktail just because I had to drive here. I was in Key West and I had a mocktail and I'm like, I'm just going to have a little mocktail right now because I've got to drive to Fort Lauderdale. So it's one of those things that it gives people the ability, if they don't want to drink, they can. If they do, fine. It gives you the opportunity to pick and choose the experience you want.
Now, what's up your sleeve for the future of Aquaplex? Are there other cities on your radar? Are there possibilities of expansion?
There are. Right now we're going to stay focused on what we're doing here, make sure we get this right. And then after we figure this out, kind of like Key West, then we'll see if we want to move forward with something else. But, the first thing is to make sure what you're doing is you're the best at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you had another entrepreneur come up to you, somebody who's had a background in, I don't know, finance or healthcare or any other industry, and they said to you, Mike, what do you think about me going into the bar business? Would you recommend that to other entrepreneurs, and what would you tell them as, in the way of advice?
My advice would be if you whatever you do in life, be passionate about it. If you got that passion, it's kind of like I told you in the beginning, drag is kind of a passion of me and my husband. During COVID, we had a theater in our house, and we sat in the theater and we watched RuPaul's Drag Race from season 5 all the way to finish, all through COVID. And that was our day every day. We'd get up at dinner, we'd cook dinner, we'd go into the theater, we'd sit down, and we'd watch all these reruns of RuPaul. And then our friends around the country, we'd do Zoom calls and we would do RuPaul viewing parties. So it was kind of drag is kind of a passion, I guess you could say. And so the way I look at it is no matter what you do in life, if you love what you're doing, you'll be successful. But, in the bar life, you got to learn that you're going to be up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's a different schedule.
It's a totally different schedule. That's probably the hardest thing is just, for me was getting used to, which I had Taco Bells that were open till 4 o'clock in the morning. So I did work a lot of late nights. There was some stores that whatever they had at midnight, they'd double between 12 and close. So it's one of those things that no matter what you're doing, if you're passionate about it, you love what you're doing, then it's not really a job. It's more fun. And that's kind of the way I look at it.
You certainly picked a good location in Fort Lauderdale. I have been to Wilton Manors many, many, many times. I refer to it as my happy place because I live in Tampa, so it's about 4 hours away. It's about as far away as you are, actually, in Key West. But it's something you can just drive down there for a weekend and not spend the whole day in the car. And Wilton Manors, in a lot of ways, reminds me of the old Key West. It's got that vibrant, anything goes, nobody cares who you are or what you do, and it's a very open and accepting area. And your bar is practically walking distance from Wilton Manors. It's just outside the city.
And actually, we're supposed to be on the golf cart tour, I think, where they bring you over, drop you off. So, you can catch a golf cart at different bars and go around. I think we're going to be on that here pretty soon. We're not far. We're just right outside of Wilton Manors. A lot of things are growing in this area, too. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's not more gay bars here in this area in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's one of the few areas I can think of in the country where since COVID, it's actually had an increase in the number of gay bars. There's quite a few that have opened or changed hands since the end of COVID. No Manners is one of them. The Tap That Ash, the cigar bar, the West End, the piano bar down by City Hall. I
actually went with Miss Bouvier a few weeks ago. So,
so it's definitely a growing environment, and there's a lot of fun going on. In fact, tonight is going to be a very interesting night. As you know, tonight it's Halloween today, and Halloween on the Drive is a crazy, crazy event.
Yeah. And we're doing a Rocky Horror viewing party here, and I think we have over 40 or 50 people for that tonight. So Halloween's just a fun night in general. It usually tends to be a little slower in Key West for the simple fact that uh, in Key West, we have Fantasy Fest. We just ended 2 days ago, and so it kind of everybody's wore out from Fantasy Fest. Ain't nobody going out for Halloween. They've been doing Halloween for the last week and a half. But
Well, that's good for you in Fort Lauderdale because Wilton Manors always celebrates on the day.
yeah,
It's always
and
on the
I'm
31st.
in town too, so I'll probably be out and about too. I know they've got like 40 or 50 people coming to the Rocky Horror thing they're doing here tonight, so that should be pretty good. And just create a whole new experience. And I've met a lot of the bar owners. As we were out at that Stonewall thing the other night, a lot of people that I talked to, I think we're very excited about being here and being a part of the community.
Yeah, you'll be surprised if you haven't been on Wilton Drive on Halloween night, you will be surprised because the whole street is closed off from Five Points all the way down past City Hall. And there will be at least 30 to 40,000 people on the street on a Thursday night partying for Halloween all night long.
Awesome. Yeah, I think after we get done with what we're doing here, we probably will go somewhere over there. So I'll get an idea of what's going on. Typically, when we get done here, we end up going out somewhere. So that's usually what happens. So that's kind of how it goes.
Is John in town with you?
He was here. He left this morning to head back to Key West. He's been
I'm
here for the
beginning to
last
think
3 days, huh?
I'm beginning to think he's like an imaginary person. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think
he
I've
was
ever
here.
seen him there.
Yeah, he was here. He left this morning, probably about 2 hours ago. So, I mean, what we try to do is split our time up. He's kind of keeping an eye on the bar down there, and I'm getting this all done. And then, we're just kind of getting people trained so that we don't have to be here 24 hours a day.
Well, you're doing a great job between the two of you. Um, running the one that's been going for a couple years in Key West, and now opening the one in Fort Lauderdale. I'm really glad to see that there's some fresh blood in the market there, and as part of this whole series that I'm doing called Gay Bar Takeover is all about people who are like yourself, successful entrepreneurs from other fields who are segueing into the gay bar business. About 2 weeks ago, I interviewed Tristan Shoecraft, who founded Mister and a couple of other businesses. And now he owns half a dozen gay bars and some gay hotels and whatever. Um, and he had the same kind of sentiment as you do. It's about preserving the community, about keeping safe spaces, about making them better than they were before, and about serving the community.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing to see that as opposed to somebody who's been lingering around the bar business for 57 years and the only thing they want to do is be Norm at the corner of the bar with a beer in their hand. It's nice to see some energy coming in, some fresh blood, and some new ideas. And it gives me great hope for what is in the future for our gay bar industry when there's people like you who know better. You're not just some young kid out of college saying, "Oh, I'm going to invest some money in the bar." You know business, and here you are, reinventing a couple of bars in two of the gayest places in Florida.
Yep.
So,
and you'd be surprised how many people call and say, "Is it safe?" I'm like, "Yes, very safe here." But I'm shocked sometimes that I don't know what's reported around the country, but I am shocked to hear that from time to time.
yeah, I've heard it too. It's a Florida thing ever since Ron DeSantis started with the "Don't Say Gay" crap. Um, we've heard a lot of it, and I tell people all the time. I have friends and acquaintances that have said, "Oh, I'm never going to come to Florida," or I live there, but I'm going to move to somewhere else because I don't want to be in an anti-gay state." And my response to that is, if we don't stay and fight for our rights and for our freedoms here, then the whole state will become like a communist country. It'll become a red state, and we'll never get it back. So you know,
You have to be who you are, and it's kind of like me and you grew up in the older times when you had to sneak around to go to a gay club, and I can remember catching a cab in Memphis, Tennessee, going to Captain Bilbo's, catching a cab and going down to Georgie's, and catching a cab to get out so you wouldn't get beat up. We've come a long way in my lifetime, and hopefully it's something that you've always got to be keeping mindful of and keeping yourself present, because if you lose being present where people can see you, you go back into the shadows. And I think it's important to stay out of the shadows and move forward.
absolutely. And I'm so glad there are people like yourself investing in the entertainment scene in the gay world and making it more vibrant and bringing it into the 21st century, because that's something we need. And just like every other minority community in the world, you know, whether you mentioned, being having a Spanish, Italian, Portuguese background, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese people can go to any restaurant or clothing store or department store in the country they want to, but they still want to have their own bars. They still want to have their own markets because they want to be able to retain their own traditions and have their own culture. And it's the same in the gay world. Sure, we can go to Burger King and have a burger, but we want to be able to celebrate our gay culture and our gay community, and we need places like Aquaplex to do that.
We appreciate it. That's what we're here for.
Well, we wish you all the luck in the world, and we look forward to watching as Aquaplex Fort Lauderdale grows and getting down to the Key West location to see what the Mac Daddy Aquaplex really looks like.
Yeah, 550 capacity there. So it's a big place.
Well, I hope to get down there soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike, for everything you're doing, and give John a hug for me. Sorry he couldn't be here today, but one of these days we'll get him on camera.
Yeah, he's headed home, and I'm probably going home either tomorrow night or Saturday morning. So,
well, have fun in Key West, and
all
say
right,
hi to all the fun people down there.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care.